Hello guys, in today's class we shall learn about synchronous motor and other motors. So let's begin. So in the introduction part we have synchronous generator is similar to that of your DC motor or DC generator. The reason why I am telling here because the DC motor or DC generator, depending upon its input, it works. If I give a mechanical input, then it converts into electrical output. If I give electrical input, then it converts into mechanical output, right? Similar ways your synchronous generator does work. Synchronous generator or synchronous motor, depending upon the input, it works as generator as well as motor. If I give mechanical input, then it gives electrical output. If I give electrical input, then it gives mechanical output. Now let us see how the word synchronous has come into picture. What does synchronous mean? So to understand this synchronous, let us take an example of single phase induction motor or three phase induction motor. We know that always your single phase induction or three phase induction motor runs on slip speed, right? There is a term called slip in induction motor. There is no any such term slip in the synchronous motor. The reason here is why the term slip is missing in the synchronous motor is because we know that there are two speeds present in stator as well as rotor. In stator we know that there is synchronous speed ns, whereas actual speed n in the rotor, right? And if I take the difference, then I get the slip. It was true for your induction motor. But in the synchronous motor, what happens? There is no any such difference of speed between stator speed as well as the rotor speed. So S is literally equal to 0. So your motor always run at the constant speed irrespective of the load condition. Okay, doesn't matter whether you overload it, overload in sense whether you load or unload it, your speed will be always constant. Okay, uh, sometimes at instant of loading or unloading, the speed may change for few seconds, but after that what happens again, the slip will be again 0. So technically speaking, the slip will be always 0 throughout the working of the synchronous motor or a generator. Okay, and again we know that what RMF is, rotating magnetic field, which is present in the stator part, and it is always having a constant magnitude which rotates in the space of the stator in the stator part. Okay, depending upon, again we know that there is a relation between synchronous speed, that is ns equal to 120 f by p, and again synchronous speed depends on the frequency as well as the number of poles. Okay, now how the direction of rotating magnetic field can be changed depending upon the phase sequence. I say depending upon the phase sequence. If I have phase sequence RYB, then we know that there is each phase is electrically differed, or that there is a difference of 120 degree between all these three phases. Okay, if I want to say for this picture, it is just shown this phase sequence is around what, the clockwise, means the phasor is rotating in the clockwise direction RYB. For here it is rotating in the anti-clockwise. How it is possible to rotate the phase sequence flowing from, rotating from clockwise to anti-clockwise? Just interchange any two terminals, interchange, say such like if B should be given to Y and Y should be given to B, or R should be given to B, or B should be given to R, or R should be given to Y, or Y should be given to R. Any two phase, if you change the interconnections, if I make such interconnections, then I can change the direction of the rotation of the flux. Okay, now let us see the construction of three-phase synchronous motor. Here also we have two parts, two main parts. One is stator, other one is rotor. Stator carries the stator conductors. Again, synchronous motor, it is always three-phase. It may be connected in star or delta. And here also rotor, or again we know that mainly there are two types. One is salient one, other one is non-salient type, and major of the rotors will be of salient type. Salient in sense what, projected type, poles. So this is your stator. You can see the conductors are placed in the slots of the stator, and again whatever three-phase supply is given, it is given to the stator part. Okay, please do remember the three-phase supply is given to the stator, not to the rotor. And you can see that for this rotor, a simple rotor which has two poles, one is north, other one is south. And again one new change what we have done in the rotor part is, obviously there are windings in the rotor part, and again to that winding what I'm going to do is I'm going to give DC supply. Okay, this is what the major difference between your three-phase induction motor as well as synchronous motor. Okay, the DC supply is extra to be given to the rotor in addition to that of three-phase induction motor. So that makes your motor to be called as synchronous motor. We know that there are two windings. One is the main winding, other one is field winding. Okay, main winding is stationary and field winding is rotatory. So here field is rotatory and not stationary. Why? Because rotor rotates, and again on the rotor we have field winding, and again, so that's the reason why field is rotatory and why it is not stationary. Okay, now let us see the principle of working. Okay, here synchronous motor works on the principle of magnetic locking. So what exactly magnetic locking means? We know that we have played with magnets and all. Bringing two like poles will repel, and bringing two unlike poles will attract each other. In the same concept, the principle of working of synchronous motor or generator is defined. And whenever we bring two unlike poles, magnets together or placed together, what happens? There creates a force of attraction. So if I move one magnet radially or like clockwise or anti-clockwise, so the other magnet will follow the same. Okay, and with that concept, synchronous motor actually works. You can see that for the sake of example, here we are using two magnets. One is north, the other one is south, and as they are both unlike poles, so what happens? There is a force of attraction between these two magnets. So what happens if I move this magnet like in the clockwise fashion, in this fashion? So it is moved here from this position to here. You can see the other magnet is also what is forced to move along with the magnetic axis of north and south. So the magnetic axis of north as well as the magnetic axis of south will overlap each other. So this magnet 2 will follow this magnet. So this magnet you can consider it as stator, and this magnet you can consider it as rotor. Now let us take an example of three-phase synchronous motor having two poles. Okay, so this is the north pole and this is the south pole, and this is the north pole, like I said earlier, it is present in the stator, and this is the south pole present in the rotor. So whenever I give supply to the stator part, this is one of the magnets in the stator part. So what happens? There creates RMF depending upon the frequency as well as the poles. Okay, so that starts to rotate in the space depending upon the frequency value. Now coming to this, how this south pole is created in the rotor part. This is created because of giving of DC supply to the field winding on the rotor. So that makes a creation of two poles, that is north and south. Here for the sake of convenience only we are showing south pole, and also for the sake of convenience we are only showing north pole in the stator. So for example, we are taking what south pole is created in the rotor. So due to the application of what DC supply to the field winding. So whenever I give DC supply to field winding, what happens? That rotor gets magnetized, that creates its own pole north as well as south. And whenever the two unlike poles are brought close to each other, there creates a force of attraction. And again we know that stator is stationary whereas rotor is rotatory. So that's why your rotor will start to follow the RMF speed of the stator, and finally the rotor speed will catch the stator speed, thus slip will be 0. This is what the principle of synchronous motor. And one more thing we need to remember here is your synchronous motor or generator is not self-starting. And now let us see why it is not self-starting. Okay, from the below. concept. For understanding why synchronous motor is not self-starting, let us consider two-pole synchronous motor N1, S1 are placed in stator, whereas N2, S2 are placed in rotor part. So two poles present in stator, whereas two poles present in the rotor. Okay. For an instant, let us say N1 and S1 are facing vertically opposite to each other, whereas for an example, let us say the position of the rotor is in this direction, that is N2 is facing like this as well as S2 is facing downwards. Okay, almost. Now we know that this N1 and S1 is created by supplying three-phase supply to the stator, whereas N2 and S2 poles are created by supplying DC supply to the field winding. Okay, and now whenever I give supply to the stator, so what happens, there creates a RMF field and that starts to rotate with the synchronous speed. Okay, and we know that there is no any slip in the synchronous motor. Let us see in figure A. As soon as I give supply to the stator, RMF starts to rotate in the clockwise direction, and when I give DC supply to the rotor tries to follow the direction of the rotation of the stator. Means this rotor tries to direction of, means the stator direction is the clockwise, the rotor will also try to follow in the same direction, that is clockwise. Okay, but due to like poles N1 and N2 as well as S1 and S2, they start to repel each other. So rotor tries to rotate in anti-clockwise direction instead of rotating in the clockwise direction. It tries to rotate in the anti-clockwise direction so that N2 gets attracted towards S1, whereas S2 gets attracted towards N1. So that is the reason why it tries to rotate in the anti-clockwise direction. Now rotor hardly it moves in anti-clockwise direction. Now rotor hardly it moves in the anti-clockwise direction. Suddenly the stator poles will interchange. You can see it is N1 and S1 initially, but now after interchanging, what happens? N1 has become S1, whereas S1 has become N1. Okay, in the stator, it can be seen in the figure P. Due to inertia, the rotor doesn't rotate in the anti-clockwise direction. You should not forget that inertia is present and rotor is much heavy, so that the rotor will not rotate in the anti-clockwise direction. The reason is suddenly the stator has changed its direction from the pole direction from N1 to S1 as well as S1 to N1. So that's why the rotor doesn't rotate due to the inertia. It remains in the same position. Okay, in the figure we can see it has remained same, but the direction of the pole direction of the stator has been changed because as it is rotating at the synchronous speed initially. Now due to this condition from the figure B, S1 and N1, again now N2 tries to attract towards S1, whereas S2 tries to attract towards N1. As you know that again the attraction is in the clockwise direction. Now the rotor tries to rotate in the clockwise direction, as they are unlike poles. Yes or not? N2 S1 are unlike, as well as S2 N1 are unlike to each other. Similarly here also the rotor hardly rotates in the clockwise. Again the stator poles will interchange. These stator poles will interchange. S1 will become again N1 and N1 will become again S1. Okay, and due to the inertia, the rotor doesn't rotate in the clockwise direction. Due to the inertia, again the rotor doesn't rotate in the clockwise direction. In both the case, the rotor doesn't rotate either in the anti-clockwise, either it rotates in the clockwise. Okay, so the cycle repeats again and again. So the rotor doesn't rotate in any of the directions. In third scenario, you can see that N2 is exactly opposite to S1, whereas S2 is exactly opposite to N1 in figure A. Hence, you all might say that the rotor gets magnetically locked to the stator and rotor rotates, but in practical, it doesn't happen so. Again, due to inertia, the rotor doesn't rotate in any of the directions, as speed of ns is greater and continuously changing its poles in very frequent manner. It is true for figure B also.